This is a new web application I've just created, and what it does is display animations of a macroeconomic model. So if you're interested in knowing more about the model, there's some information on the page, and there's also this link to an academic article where the model is actually developed in detail, and the article talks about um, empirical studies supporting it and things like that. But the idea here is to give a relatively non-technical way of understanding what this model actually does. So you can click Run, and then you have these animations below that describe the dynamics of what happens. So this chart here is showing you the rate of capital accumulation. So this is essentially the rate of growth for the economy. And you can see it's fluctuating up and down. There's no regular pattern. It's pretty unpredictable. But if you look at this black line, that's showing you the long run average value. And if you look at it, it's about 3% per year. And what you see is as the simulation goes on, that value is actually going to get closer and closer to that 3% value over time. So even though things are totally unpredictable and you've got all these crazy fluctuations, there is some regularity in the long run. It does take a while for it to really converge, but you can see that after about 10 years, it's pretty close to 3%. And if you really let it go long enough, it will get closer and closer to that value. You've also got down here a graph for the rate of capital accumulation. So in this model, businesses are adjusting investment to keep up with the growth of demand for their products, and they want to use some percentage of their productive capacity. So they want to leave some spare capacity to allow for to be prepared for unexpected changes in demand, but they don't want to have too much unused capacity because that's just a waste. So right now with the default parameters, they want 70% of capacity utilized. And so they're making these adjustments to their rate of capital accumulation. That's causing all these fluctuations in this red line. But you can see, again, the long run average, which is this black curve, is getting closer and closer to this desired value of 70%. So again, even though it's a very disorderly picture, there is this regularity that starts to appear in the long run. Finally, there's also a graph for government spending. And the growth rate for this is actually determined by the parameters in the model, which the user can choose. And this actually ends up driving the growth of aggregate demand. So it plays an important role in just driving the overall dynamics of the model. And you can see it's fluctuating up and down in a crazy way, but it is roughly 3% per year growth rate on average. You can also pause the simulations, you can reset, and you can change values of different parameters. So for instance, if I wanted to make the growth rate of government spending more volatile, I can increase the standard deviation. I can run it again. And so you're going to get even bigger fluctuations in the model. Okay, and there are a lot of other parameters you can play with there. Finally, if you go further down, you've got some more information describing the theory behind the model. And you've got a link here, which gives you a slightly more detailed rundown of all the equations and the parameters being used. It takes a second to load, but so there's that. So a lot of stuff here, and a lot of different possibilities for what can happen in this model. So maybe I'll add some features if I get more time to show more things that can happen. Thank you.